Hello and welcome to Auto Arcadia. I am one of your hosts, Thomas Hope, and with me, as always, is.
Colin Wood, the other host.
Hi, Colin. How are you today?
I'm smashing, dude. How are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Enjoying some time off.
Yes, likewise. It's lush, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nice. I could get used to it.
We just never need to work again. That's the answer.
Is that the dream?
It fucking is my dream anyway. Uh,
Absolutely. So, okay, dreams aside, what are we talking about today?
well, I don't really know if it's dreams aside because they're pretty cool. But I'm thinking we could have a little chat about the 911.
Okay, I'm on board.
So, what I thought is, like, there's a certain sect of 911 models that I really like, and it's all the modern ones from like the 996 onwards because I quite simply can't afford any of the other ones. So it seems pointless swooning over them. Like, oh my god, I'd really like a 964. I don't have £250,000. So yeah, the ones that really interest me are the ones that are like the 996, 997, 991, and 992. But anyway, so I figure we'll like give a quick skim of the early like Porsche 911 and how we got to where we are, and then have a bit of a discussion.
Okay.
So, kind of early years. So, it first came about in like 1964. Originally, the 901, designed by Ferdinand Butzi Porsche. Yeah, there's not much more to say about that. Ferdinand Butzi Porsche wasn't necessarily the nicest guy on the face of the planet, but
Yeah, let's maybe not dig too deeply into his past.
no, let's not deep dig too much here. But yeah, torsion bar suspension, air cooled engines, flat sixes, distinctive design. Some would say suspiciously like a Volkswagen Beetle.
When you look at the originals, there is some style and cue swap over, but I think they are a much better looking design.
Oh yeah. Do you know the thing that always got me though? You know the Carmen Ghia?
Yeah,
I always thought that looked much more like a Porsche 911 than the Beetle did. But nobody ever says, well, I suppose it's maybe a bit niche. Oh, they're just a Carmen Ghia, because nobody will know what you mean.
do you know what? I really went through a phase with that car of being like, wow, that is a beautiful car, and then being like, I don't know if I like that now.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think it looks cool, but it's not ultimately for me.
Aye, totally. Maybe it's just not something I want.
Yeah, hey, that's fair though. Yeah, no, Carmen. Yeah, I think they look a lot more like a Carmen Ghia than they actually do look like a Beetle. But yeah, ultimately they're their own design is the big takeaway. I think has to be.
And they look good. Those first generation 911s look nice. They're pretty old cars.
Yeah, there's something about the proportions of them. They just work.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think they look a lot better than the 356.
Yes.
It's definitely still got its feet well in the 50s.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like there's a certain retroness to it that's just really fucking nice. So it is. I would love one, but they're mega mega money. It also kind of cemented like the its motorsport as well. 'Cause, I mean, it got wins in like the Targa Florino and 24 Hours Daytona with the early chassis, like the 901. Well, originally the 901, but the first 911.
Interesting.
Quite something. Like
Hmm.
there wasn't really some fucking anorak somewhere has got to try and shoot me for this, but that's about all there is to know about the early ones in
Oh
my
no, I want to
mind.
know like what like how fast? Give me power.
How fast? How much power? Well, I mean, it's from the 1960s, so I mean, if it had 120 brake, it would have been a fucking rocket ship because it won't weigh anything.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's what I want to know. I want to know these figures. I understand the context. I'm not going to be like, Oh, 300 horsepower, what's that? Because back then that was quite a lot.
Fair play, dude. So the first models of the 911 used a rear-mounted 130 brake horsepower engine,
Holy
which
shit, that's not bad.
is not bad at all. So it was air-cooled, displaced, 2 liters.
Again, that's quite good from a 2 litre
Yeah,
in 64. Actually, quite, I don't know. Am I being naive for being quite impressed by that?
no, absolutely not. Like that's a solid display. That's a solid specific output for this for 60s. Like that's getting on for like race engines in the 60s.
Aye, no wonder
Um,
they were quick.
yeah, had a 4 or a 5 speed manual transmission. So you know how I said I think it looks a lot more like the Carmen Ghia. So the 365B Carmen hardtop, it was actually based on that essentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean you can see the similarities. I agree. The Carmen Ghia looks a lot more like the early 911s.
Absolutely. It didn't last long though. So like it was introduced in 64 and they got to 66 before they were like, "Ha, we need more power." So they brought out a 911S, which had 160 brake. Yeah. And I mean in motorsport trim it made 207 horsepower.
That's actually really really good. Bet that was fun.
That would have been an absolute riot. Like that would have been fantastic to drive.
Oh, do you know what we've not actually mentioned because we just assumed everyone knew. Sorry, but the unique thing kind of about the 911 is that it's rear engined.
Yes, it is. It's it's not got many partners in the waiting room there.
Yeah, I mean there were a few kicking about a little bit earlier than the 60s, but you know in the 60s people are starting to kind of everything's becoming quite a homogenized kind of standardized layout.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's getting to the point where there's quite a lot of standardization in general, like across, and a lot of that is due to the Mini as well. Like the first, like big mass-produced front-wheel drive car where everything was in sub-assemblies and everything else. That kind of starts pushing everything in that direction even harder.
It's the good with the bad because like you know mass production, it means that everything does become more affordable, but also everything becomes the same.
Yeah, that's it. But more the same is more boring to my mind.
I agree. I agree. So Porsche with the 911 have very much stuck to their guns.
Yes, and like it's quite cool as well because there's been a lot of technical like breakthroughs because of it. It was like this problem that should never have existed. You're like, we are gonna fucking solve this.
Yeah, aye, totally. We're gonna make it work.
Yeah, and to be fair, they now became like some of the best handling driving cars on the planet. I think it's fair to say.
And you know, I know like Porsche used to get a bit of stick for not really for all their cars looking basically the same.
Yeah,
Especially the 911 being like really really similar, but also you do get like fantastic continuity of the model.
absolutely. Like, see when you see like a photo of all the generations of 911 lined up, like, and you can see the evolution. It's like that is actual evolution. That's
Aye.
not
There's not
we've
been a
got a couple of
redesign in
models
there.
precisely. Like within like they got bigger as they went on, so obviously the chassis have changed, but like it's actually you can see its lineage from the start to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So sorry, I interrupted. We were like the S.
Yeah, we were like mid 60s there, so we were. So yeah, the S with like 160 brake, like 210 in racing trim, and then there's a load of stuff like I could go really really deep here, like because it got like in 67 it came out with dual brake circuits and widened wheels, but I mean people don't really want to know that. Like this isn't an indulge the anoraks in this. This is a whistle stop tour.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So like then you get to the Carrera RS.
So now we're barreling wildly into the 70s, aren't we?
We're into the 70s now. So, like the big Carrera RS that everybody loves, the 2.7 RS, 210 brake horsepower, mechanical fuel injection, the quintessential ducktail spoiler, the louvered out bodywork. They look class. And like they weighed like 1,100 kilos with 200 brake in the 70s. Like this is probably peak sort of Widowmaker.
Yeah, these things will kill you kind of cars.
Yeah, this is us getting into like the holy fuck. This is when things were getting dangerous. Um,
I love these things.
this is the really cool era. Like this is like when they had rally cars in the 911s and all sorts of stuff. And we're still in like early years because it's not really termed like evolution models until you get to like 89. So like we're still quite early in Porsche history at the minute. And then you like 76 is when like the Carrera 3 liter came in, which they kind of stay the same. They don't really change massively until you get to like 930, where you get like the first production turbo was on the 930, and then after that you keep going. You get to the 993s. No, sorry, you get to the 964 series, which is like 89 to 93.
Continuing the evolution of the Carrera and largely the Carrera 3 liter.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you're getting increased engine sizes all the time. So like when this 964 came out, it was up to a 3.6 by this point with like 250 horsepower.
Okay, so I mean, the engines have been getting bigger and the power has been incrementally creeping up.
Yeah, it's been it's been increasing all the time. Like there's been a definite like there's a trend here where things are getting better and it just keeps ticking on really nicely. But I don't think it's until you get to like 94 with the 993 where you really see things starting to take off. Now, I have to say the 993 is the best looking one.
How do you feel about the 964?
I think it looks a bit. I like the slant nose a lot more than I like the Carrera, which is the slant nose was like the factory special where you could have it with pop up headlights. I don't think the front end works particularly well in the 964 for me.
It's because of how pronounced the headlights are.
Yes,
It looks like the car you would talk to in like a Japanese video game.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We're probably going to get assassinated because of saying that. Um, because one thing I've noticed since I became like mega interested in Porsche is the enthusiasts don't fuck around, man. Like you know, the Bathurst race in Australia.
Yeah, the 24-hour one.
Yeah, it's just Ford versus Chevrolet or Ford versus Holden, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's basically just a pitched battle where a car race takes place in the middle of a pitched battle.
Yeah. They have like a fight, and then they stop for a bit of racing, and then they have a nice fight to cap it off.
Yeah. You know, when they banned alcohol at the Bathurst, right, to try
I
and.
heard about that.
So what everybody did was they went there like 2 days beforehand and buried their beer in the field. And then when they went in and set up all their tents and everything for the Bathurst, they were like, yep, go and dig up the beer. And everybody got rat arsed and fought about it anyway. Some of the Porsche fanboys make them guys look quite tame.
Okay. Well, we'll only say nice things about the 911.
Yeah. But like the thing is, saying not nice things about the 911 in some of their eyes is like because you didn't say anything about it at all. You didn't say the special edition that I love. You must die. That sort of thing. But anyway, 993 for me, one of the best looking ones. Like just no argument, no bullshit. It's cool as fuck. So I mean, it stayed at like a 3.6 in the Carrera, but it's up to 272 brake now.
Okay, yeah, that's a lot more substantial.
So it's getting more substantial, and then it's upped again throughout the life cycle to 282. So you're getting closer to like that 300 brake figure. But I mean, then you get like the four-wheel drive system was introduced as an option with like the Carrera 4, and you got a lightweight RS, which had a 3.8 litre engine, which was like 300 brake, well, 296 or something like that, and it was rear-wheel drive only. Targa open-topped ones returned with this one as well, with this shape, and then you had the turbo, which was all-wheel drive. So it was the first 911 turbo to be equipped with permanent all-wheel drive, apart from the GT2 version, which retained the rear-wheel drive.
Right.
So these were like a 3.6 litre twin turbo engine with 400 brake horse,
So much higher.
much higher, and these were getting like 3.2 seconds to 60, with the braking from 60 to 0 being like 2.3 seconds, and like a genuine 200 mile an hour top speed. And this is the mid 90s we're talking about. Like, this is serious numbers.
That's kind of wild, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking serious numbers. And then in 97 there was a limited run of a sport version of the 993 turbo, dubbed the Turbo S, which had an additional 24 horsepower.
Oh, right. Cool. Just in case.
Just in case, just in case somebody in the mid 90s was like, you know what, 200 mile an hour in 3 seconds to 60, it's not good enough.
This feels like a bit of a Widowmaker Porsche as well. I mean, the four-wheel drive probably helps a bit, though.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're still in that range of models where they're pretty fucking raw. And at this point, it then gets into like the ones that are affordable, or the ones that if me and you were going to go out and buy a 911 tomorrow would probably be on one of these 4 generations, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel some familiarity coming.
So we were just getting into the 996, but I need to rewind a little bit because there's something I really want to cover about the 993. And it introduced a thing called the I'm going to say this or pronounce it wrong, but the Visach or Visach axle.
Right.
And essentially what it is, it's a semi-trailing arm design of suspension, but the foremost or the outside front bush doesn't have a bush. So the foremost or outer bushing of each trailing arm is replaced by a short link, basically. And what it does is it essentially creates active suspension. So instead of having like this rigid bushing where it just is there and it does what it does and it absorbs vibrations and flexes like a bush does, this allows the hubs, so the links pull the hubs and it rotates them inward a little bit, which results in more toe in.
Oh, right. Yeah, I get you.
So this was quite a big thing in, I mean, it was introduced in like 78 with like the 928 Porsche, but we're on about the 911 model here. So, but it was a fully developed version, first came about in like the 993 Porsche. And it basically, when decelerating, it allows them to toe in and it adds stability. It reduces the risk of oversteer. So, like, you know how old Porsches had this Widowmaker thing where it's like lift off oversteer?
Mm-hmm.
This is what really tamed it. So it is. This is what really came and pushed the suspension design forward and made them more livable or less Widowmakery, I suppose.
Yes. Yes. Less heavy front end just to balance the car out a bit.
Yeah. So it really became the point with the 993 where the rear engine layout started to get tamed down a bit, and then it's just been refined on and on since then. So yeah, 996 land now. The ugly duckling, and the one that all the traditionalists noted was the end of the true 911, which is a bit over the top, I think, considering you wouldn't have a fucking Porsche mark at all if it wasn't for the 996 and the resultant Boxster because they fucking saved them.
So these are Porsches for the masses.
Yeah, man. Remember, like, early days. You know how you have cars that are everywhere? Like, I
Aye.
remember when I was like 4 or 5 year old walking about and I saw loads of Lexuses with gold badges. They were just everywhere. Like,
Oh,
everyone.
aye, totally, yeah.
Yeah. And then how there was like everyone had like Celicas or Mark III MR2s, for example. They were just everywhere. The bit was polluted with them. 911 996 and the Boxster, I seem to remember them having this same phenomenon where like everyone had a Boxster.
Boxsters of that generation are everywhere. They're almost as easy to pick up quite cheap as an MX-5.
Yeah, like, and the thing is as well, because they came with like a 2.5, a 2.7, and a 3.2. Like, there's plenty of option there. Like, I've seen a quite a young guy driving one about Dumfries, and I'm pretty sure it's the 2.5 because he wouldn't be able to insure anything else. But because it's an old car, like, it's probably quite reasonable.
Yeah, it's probably not insane compared to like what the equivalent performance kind of contemporary car would be.
Yeah, and unlike his friends in Fiesta STs, the world doesn't fucking hate him.
His bank account probably hates him.
I don't know, man. I reckon they're pretty reliable at this age. Well, we'll come back to that.
It's when you get to the really leggy ones,
Yes, that's it.
or sat in field for 3 years ones.
Yeah, you don't want a Porsche that sat in a field. That's an expensive recipe right there.
Yeah, it does. It sounds very expensive.
So this is the big shift. So this is when they went water cooled from being air cooled, and it also had the M97 96 engine come in. But I mean, the 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 evolution is still there here. So it's like the Carrera had like a point 0.3 coefficient of drag, which is like cutting edge for 99
It's
2005.
pretty
Like,
low,
that's
yeah.
low. Um,
I mean, you could kind of see that from looking at it though, because like it does. All of the Porsches of that age have that very, very similar look, similar front end, similar profile.
yeah, man. Like, they all look slippery,
Mm-hmm.
so they do. And I mean, really, I just think they look class. Admittedly, I'm not a fan of the 996 headlights, but it is what it is. So I mean, they came out with a 3.4
Okay.
with 300 brake, which is not bad.
Aye.
And then in 2002, that was increased to a 3.6, and the power went up to like 320 brake.
Nice. Yeah. Okay.
And you had like there was loads of shit you could get as well. So you had like X51, which was a power pack option from the factory that gave it like an extra 20 or 30 brake. And then you also had the S models. So you had the Carrera S, the Carrera 4, the Carrera 4S.
Yeah. This is where we start to have like models for days, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you've got like the Turbo S, and then you had your GT2, GT3, GT3 RS. So like this is where the modern kind of model lineup really starts coming back in, and I think they're cool as fuck.
I do you know what appeals to me about these?
What's that?
How many they made and how easy they are to find.
Yeah, if you go on eBay right now, there's thousands of them for sale.
I can imagine that. I can absolutely imagine that.
Yeah, they're not shy about their production numbers with these ones at all. You got like the king of the tree as well. Well, I say the king of the tree, it's in inverted air quotes. The GT3. Everyone says it's the king of the tree, but I would argue the GT2 is the best one. So it had a 3.6 litre engine, but it wasn't the upgraded engine that came in with this. This was like it kept the air cooled block and had water cooled heads. It's the Mezger design derived turbo engine and any engine in the GT3 as well. So like GT3 3.6 litre engine, 360 brake. It was later increased to 380. It was like 4.4 seconds to 60 and 190 mile an hour top speed, which, it's nothing to shake a stick at. Like,
No, I mean the GT3s I really like.
yeah, they are cool. Then we get on to what is probably my favourite one. So the Turbo 996. 420 brake, X50 power pack package pushed it to 450, done 0-60 in like 3.9 seconds. And then you got the Turbo S, which was like 450 brake standard. It was limited to like 1,500 units worldwide and could do 190 mile an hour. That's all there is. That's all she wrote, really.
Yeah, I mean that's, whilst maybe not 200, that is still way more miles per hour than you'll ever need.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite interesting to me though that the 996 Turbo, the Turbo especially, because that's the one everybody looks at because it's the fast one, is actually materially slower than the 993.
Aye.
I mean, I know you're playing top trumps at this point, but like it's slower at 60. It's got more power and it's slower overall. And then you get my favorite one. 997 came after that from like 2004. So kept the 3.6 litre, but it was up to like 325 brake. And then a more powerful 3.8 came in the Carrera S, which was 350 brake horsepower. Yeah, that's really all there was. I mean, it came with a lot of different other things. So you got like Porsche active suspension management, xenon headlamps, sports steering wheels, larger brakes. The S's notably had red calipers as well.
So this is the 997, yeah?
Yeah, so this one does away with the troublesome headlights.
The 997, right? Do you think it's yet to reach its sort of bottom of the barrel price?
Yes.
Because I just had a very quick look online, and the cheapest 911 for sale on Auto Trader at the moment is under 10 grand. Just.
Yeah.
But like that's quite cheap for a 911. But I feel you could probably go cheaper.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I reckon they're going to bottom out. Oh, you see, actually, I don't know now though, because predictions about the car market are perilous at the minute, and they
Mm-hmm.
have been ever since fucking COVID. To be fair, but I reckon they'll bottom out the same as 996 did. I don't know if they'll get as low, but I mean, you can still pick them up for like under 10k. Like they are about, but they're dog rough, or they've got fucking ridiculous mileage, or they're needing work.
Yeah, and a 997 comes in at what, between around 12 to 15?
Yeah, I would say that up to 30, like for a nice Carrera. Eh?
Oh, I'm talking about the most boggle standard ones.
Oh yeah, the absolute Carrera beige, like neon green seats, horrible trim, horrible spec, no optional extras, that sort of
Yeah,
thing.
min
Yeah,
spec.
min spec, POV spec. Yeah, I mean, definitely less than 10k, I reckon.
Cool.
The weird thing is though, like it's a bit like BMW, isn't it? Because like the individual cars that have the really weird colours and weird specs that nobody actually wants when they're common is the ones that everybody wants when they start getting rare. Because they've got the most toys and stuff and they've got all the weird options on them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I like about buying cars that, like buying used, is occasionally you will find a car that's got a really, really good spec, but because the market for that car isn't particularly great, it isn't been any more expensive than anything else, if you know what I mean. So you can end up with like quite a well spec'd car for the same money as the bog standard one.
Yeah. And in the same vein, but buying new, right? The current car I'm running and the 997 provide me with an issue that I don't really know how to get my head round, right? So I've got the 645i at the minute. Now, in 2004, when it was new, well, we'll say 2005 because it's a 54 plate, so it could be an early register, or it could be a late registered 04, but whatever. So the 997 comes out, Carrera. Now, I don't think the 997 Carrera and that BMW had been terribly far apart in price brand new. They were probably fighting
Yeah.
for the same ownership profile, right? So the Carrera is faster, handles better, looks better, has a smaller engine, and is lighter. So it'd be better on fuel, arguably more fucking practical, or the same, in fact, no, more practical, because you've got the storage space behind the seats, you've got a massive frunk in front of you, rear engined, and it can take passengers in the back. They won't be comfortable, but it can, which is basically exactly the same sort of setup as the 6 Series, right?
I mean, there is definitely a difference in space inside both of those cars.
No, there's not.
Get away, man. There's no
I'm
way
fucking
there's less
serious.
space in the back of that 6 Series.
That 6 Series can't sit anybody in the back. If it can take 3 people, if I've got the kids with me, because one of the kids can go in the front of the seat right forward and the other kid can fit in the back, but nobody can get behind my seat and nobody can get behind the passenger seat if Bex is in it.
What?
I shit you not. Like, it's actually terrible for room inside.
Right, okay, when we're talking about rear legroom, right? Are we talking TT rear legroom where, like, there's a gap but it's about an inch thick and you can't use it? Or are we talking about you can get legs into it, they're just a bit snug?
No, we're talking TT legroom. Like, legitimately, it's massive and it's about as practical as an MX-5.
That is shocking.
It
That is
is.
genuinely shocking, yeah.
But here's my problem, right? Who the fuck would pick a that over 997 Carrera?
I mean, I agree. I don't think I would.
No, I definitely wouldn't. I own the fucking thing.
Yeah, I mean, the market has decided
It has.
they don't want the BMW over the Carrera.
No, because I mean, the Carrera is like 4 to 5 times the price of that fucking thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is going on? Like, who, when they were buying new, was like, here's this beautifully made, gorgeous, well handling, fast machine, and here's a BMW. Here's a Repmobile.
Yeah, here's a big boat
Yeah,
with quite a lazy engine.
who made that decision? Because if it wasn't for the V8, that car would not be spectacular. Well, it's not spectacular, but if it wasn't for the V8, it wouldn't even be worthy of being looked at.
I know, but it'll have been an exec car, surely.
Yeah, but then this is the thing, though, right? So if you're an executive and you're at the golf course and you're like, oh, just got a new car, what did you get? Oh, I got a BMW. Oh, I got a Porsche.
Yeah, but can you fit your sticks in the Porsche?
Well, I would presume so.
I don't know. That's something that needs to be checked because that might have been a deciding factor.
Really?
Yeah, I mean you've got to
Actually,
take your sticks. You spend like
yeah.
15 grand on a set of Ultra Club 9000s. You need you need to take them to show everyone when you're on the course the new stick you got, how good it is, how expensive it was.
This is actually fair because I didn't look at this from the point of view of a golfist. I just looked at it from the point of view of somebody buying a car.
Yeah, no. The car is a medium to get you to the golf course.
Oh my god, I can't, I cannot be okay with that. Like that's wrong.
Do you know what that means? That means that you currently drive a car that may have been bought originally by a golfer. It may have subsequently been owned by golfers.
I don't know, bud. I I've done some automotive archaeology in that car when I bought it, and I don't think the person that owned it before me was a golfer. Drug dealer maybe, but not a golfer.
The least financially savvy drug dealers, like buying a V8 BMW to waft about in.
Yeah, it wasn't their criminal achievement, was it? But no, I cannot be okay in my mind the fact that somebody bought that purd over one of these. It's just a bit mental.
Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. But they did, and it meant that it was cheap when you wanted it.
It did. It got me into V8 ownership, which is a box that I had to tick, and now I can sell it to someone else, and they can have a cheap V8 experience, and they can sell it on to somebody else as well,
Yep.
and it's all good then. So the back to the 997. So like this was quite a big model for like Porsche technology as well. So it was one of the it got a clean sheet engine design as this model, and they went to direct injection engines, and they introduced a dual clutch gearbox called PDK from 2009 onwards, and that's quite big because essentially every single Porsche made since has a PDK gearbox. I don't actually know if they do a conventional automatic in their range. I think they're all dual clutches,
Okay.
with the exception of the electric ones, but nobody cares about them. And 997 ran right up to 2012, and a 2012 Porsche could be a 997 or a 991. It depends on the month that it was produced,
Right. Okay.
which is quite a strange one. Like that's a bit mental as cars go. Like usually you have a really clean break between models.
Mm-hmm.
The turbo was 3.6 litre engine again, but 480 brake horsepower this time with variable geometry turbos. Now these are quite cool because they alter the angle of attack on the vanes to make sure that you've got loads and loads of boost all the time. Like it reduces lag.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. It also has a new all-wheel drive system similar to the one in the Cayenne. They tweaked it as well, and then it went up to a 3.8 litre engine, and that was like 490 brake horsepower. You also had,
That's big power, honestly.
oh yeah, like it's terrifyingly fast as well. So like the 997 turbo would do 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. Like that's, well, one, two, three, four. That's longer than I just counted for. It's less time than I just counted for to go
Yeah.
from 0 to 60. That's terrifying.
It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, like, we've probably all kind of experienced a car that'll do 0 to 60 in about 5 to 6 seconds.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 6 Series will.
Holy shit, that's.
Did you not expect that comment there?
Not really, no.
But I mean, you're taking another 2 seconds off of that. Like, you're nearly cutting that time in half. Like, from a physics point of view, to have your fucking acceleration rate double nearly is mental.
Yeah, no, that's very, very fast.
Well, it gets more mental though. So then they made a Turbo S, and it only came with a PDK. Well, I say it only came with a PDK gearbox and a sports exhaust. I've never seen a manual one for sale, but that's not to mean that you couldn't option it with a manual one. And it came with an extra 30 brake horsepower, which brought it up to 523.
That's that's plenty. Like,
That is, it's mental. Like, there's no need to go faster.
was this kind of like the tail end of the big arms race in power between various brands?
I would like to say yes, but I mean, it gets more mental, dude.
Yeah, I always equate like basically the 2000s as being that weird like arms race in power between some manufacturers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've seen like the Japanese were starting to go a bit mental after this, and BMW was kind of chasing higher and higher from the 90s to the early 2000s. A lot of the European manufacturers were doing the same. Like it was kind of like just fucking go for it, like do what you can.
Yeah, it was a bit of an era of big German power.
Yeah. Imagine if they had the current turbocharging trend where everything has a turbo, but with the early 2000s mindset. We would be in a world that is incredible. Because that's my only problem with the early 2000s is how little stuff was turbocharged.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that was really powerful was turbocharged, but yeah, like There's big displacements on offer with not that much power in them.
Yeah, like I say again, that 6 Series, like a 4.5 litre engine, or a 4.4 litre engine that makes 340 brake is not that special.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad, but there's a lot of engine there.
There is. It's a physically big engine as well. Like, there's a lot of torque, I'll give it that though. Like, it goes from 40 to 120 mile an hour in like 4.5, 5 seconds.
Do you know how much
Which
torque it makes?
I don't know off the top of my head, I don't actually. I found that out on a closed road in Mexico as well, in case anyone's wondering.
I was just about to suggest that you could take up caravanning then if you've got a sufficient tow vehicle now. It would also solve your space in the car issue.
You know, man, I wanted to sell it as soon as you told me it might have belonged to a golfist. Now I want to burn it.
You could get the cheapest, nastiest caravan off the internet. You could hook it up and you could go caravanning.
No, no, just no. Ah, what a horrible thought.
Fair enough. I don't think I would either.
No, absolutely not. The only caravan I will ever buy comes off that race car website that where everything's for sale, and it's only because I'd be starting my own race team when I win the lottery.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So we've covered turbo. You've got the GT3, the GT3 RS. They're fast, as you would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Once you kind of get your eye in on the naming scheme, you kind of get the point of each one as well.
You do. Like the GT2 is mental. The GT2 RS is more mental. So like the thing is as well, like the GT2 is essentially a turbo with no four-wheel drive. So it's rear-wheel drive, and it had 530 brake horsepower. But then they were like, "That's not enough, so we'll make a GT2 RS with 612 horsepower that's rear-wheel drive only."
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are proper weapons. These are honestly cars that I don't know if I'd necessarily be like super excited to buy. If you know what I mean, like
yeah.
it's. I don't know. I'd love a go in one, but I'm not sure if it would be like the car that I'd daily.
No,
Maybe not.
because I want a 997 turbo manual solely so that I can create a GT2. That's the only reason I want one. Because now we're getting into the 991 series, which was like 2011 to 2019. Now, this, if I was going to buy a Porsche tomorrow, like finance one, this is the one I'd buy. Essentially, it's a lot like a 997 to my mind anyway. Like I'm not particularly like, oh my god, there was some incremental changes in what the power makes. Like the Carrera S is 400 brake now, and the Carrera is 350. But the thing that gets me really happy about this is when they introduced the new engine, which is the 3 litre engine. So I'm trying to remember when the fucking date for that was though. Like they made a lot of these as well. They made nearly 250,000 of them. So you got the
Always a good sign when you're looking for a cheap one.
definitely like I think these ones will probably drop like the 996 did. I think they'll probably see quite a low level in the values eventually. Like I don't think they'll be mega money forever. And they're falling now even. But like the one that really gets me is the second phase. So like they went from having the 3.6 and the 3.8 litre engine to a 3 litre twin turbo flat six across the range. All the 911s have this engine. So you can buy a Carrera that's got turbos.
Mmm. True. Yeah.
And the model convention kind of got a bit mental as well because now you got the Carrera T, which was the touring one. So it's essentially base Carrera drivetrain, but with a shorter rear ratio, drive ratio, mechanical differential, like the chrono package, sports package, all that pish, and then you got like reduced sound insulation in that, and then you got the Targa and the 4S, which was the four-wheel drive version, and then The GT3 went to a 4-litre engine.
Still with the turbochargers.
That was no turbos at all. And then this was the last generation of the GT2 RS, which this one was like 700 horsepower. Like, fucking incredible. It was the most powerful 911 ever built. It done like 6 minutes 47.3 seconds round the Nürburgring, made it the fastest Porsche road car lap ever recorded on the track at the time.
It is wild that these were totally road legal. These were just cars you could theoretically buy and drive whenever you wanted.
Yeah, like, money permitting, you could walk into any Porsche dealership and be like, I want one of them, give me it. And you could drive to Tesco's in it, and then you could drive to the Nürburgring and set a sub 7 minute lap. Like,
yeah. With your shopping.
With your shopping in the front, yeah.
I honestly, like, I love the GT2, but I always feel like the RS is maybe just like
too much.
Too much. It's like it's dipping that toe too far onto the racetrack.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Like, it's a lot.
I mean, can you imagine that one day where you just need to go into the shops to get, like, I don't know, milk and eggs or whatever you do need at the shops, and it's absolutely pissing it down, and like you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to just fucking roll this thing to the shops.
It's like, I can't physically touch the pedal; it'll kill me. Yeah, man. I kind of get it. Like, we've said this before on the show. Like, driving a big power rear wheel drive car all the time is not all that fun.
Yeah, it feels sometimes a bit hard to admit, but like sometimes you just don't want to have to. You don't want an engaging drive sometimes.
Yeah, and do you know, like, there's a problem with cars, right? And it's that people think anything with less than 400 brake horsepower isn't fast. It's like, no, 300 brake horsepower is still as fucking fast as it was in the early 90s. It's just nobody goes faster in corners anymore. Everybody wants to go really fast in a straight line. Like, everyone's like, oh, I need 500 brake horsepower so I can blow the doors off everyone on the motorway or get, like, fuel acceleration. Nobody's like, it's not like I'm going to take this car at a track and race it, because if people did that, they would find out, like, 90% of the people who own an S model Audi can't fucking drive it, for example. Like, if they put that on a track, they'd be out of their depth so quickly. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I totally see what you're saying. Like, I kind of agree, and cars are geared for people that are like, you know, they're geared for people to be able to handle the power easily.
Yeah.
It's to be accessible, and you're totally right. Like, I do think people just want to go fast in straight line.
Yeah.
Which is probably why, like, a lot of cars are just like you can get quite powerful cars quite easily, but they all do their power in kind of the similar way of just being great at, like, putting it down and, like, going fast.
Yeah. Like, the thing is, like, there's so many road cars now which have more power than, like, a Ginetta Cup car.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put a Ginetta Cup car, or even a road-going Ginetta, on the road versus that same car, the Ginetta will eat it fucking live on a road that's actually interesting, i.e. not dead straight.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of roads people drive on are just pretty much like straight, normal, boring roads.
Yeah. Like, and I know there is roads that do exist where, like, proper high speed on turns is not even doable, but, like, commonplace. Like, there's a couple of the passes near me. I'm not going to say them on this because it's just putting a red rag to the bull if anyone with any power listens to it. But, like, there's roads round here that are pretty twisty, going down the back of beyond in nowhere, with a relatively okay road surface, or they were the last time I was on them, where you can maintain over 140, 150 mile an hour. They're in Mexico as well. But, you know, the vast majority of roads that people drive on, especially ones people drive on to have fun, you just don't need 700 brake horsepower.
Nah, absolutely not. No, absolutely not. I totally agree. I think there's a sweet spot, and I feel like that's the great thing about the 911 for me, is I feel like that actually a lot of the kind of base and, like, fairly low end models totally fulfill that sweet spot for me.
Absolutely. Like, I would not be unhappy with a base Carrera. I'd probably want a Carrera S just because it's the S. But like rear wheel drive, 380, 350, 340 brake horsepower, that sort of area in a car that weighs just over a ton, that's enough.
Aye, totally. And it's a 911. It's got the engine in the back. It looks like it looks the part. I totally agree. I'd be very happy with something like that.
Yeah, man. There's one model I need to bring up in the 991, which was the Speedster, and I think this is quite possibly the coolest 911 ever fucking made. Although it makes me sound like a hypocrite based on what I just said. So it's like the body shell of a cabriolet,
Right.
but it's got like the speed humps on the back of it.
Oh, behind each occupant.
Yeah, um,
I totally know the vibe.
and it's got a GT3 engine in it, and it's like 500 brake horsepower they make. But I just think they look incredible. So they do. Like, there's nothing in the 911 lineup that comes close to this, as far as I'm concerned. But I think if I could only own one 911 and I had unlimited budget to buy any one I wanted, it would be that. I'd buy the Speedster just because it's cool.
I know. I could see that.
Yeah, it's cool. Like,
Yeah, really cool. Really nice car.
so 991, you had the GT3 and you had the GT3 RS. They were making like 475, 500 brake horsepower. Then you had the 911R, which was like 500 brake horse. And then you had the GT2 RS, which was 700 brake. It was ridiculous. And then Speedster. Then you had the 992, which is basically bigger than the 991, but all the models are more or less the same, and they've got that increase in power again, and it looks a bit uglier.
Yeah, is that the kind of contemporary model?
Yeah, that's like the current one, so like 2019 till now. I really am not a fan. Like, I think they look a bit ugly. They're a bit big. The interior doesn't look all that impressive. Like, I'm just not a massive fan of them.
They are big, and you really notice that when you see them on the road. Because I've seen a few of these floating about, and they're very very wide.
Yeah, like it it's getting further and further away from, like, if you make it too big, the car is not fun. Like, it's a chore to park. It's a chore to fucking get down a shit road. It's a chore to get round a village at times. And when you're actually enjoying yourself and you're pressing on a little bit and you meet someone, you never meet anyone that has like an awareness of how wide their car is. They're always like over the white line helping you drive on your side of the road because you clearly need it.
Oh, I've got some thoughts on this as well. Yeah, but I totally agree, man.
It's like it's too much. And yeah, so for me, I think like peak 911 is 997 Turbo and 997 Carrera because that's the ones that I want to own. But if I was going to buy one like tomorrow, finance a 911, I'd be like 991 Carrera T or a Carrera S or a Carrera GTS, so that it's got all the nice chassis upgrades and like the nice spec upgrades, but it's got that turboed 3 litre engine. That's what I would be going for. Like,
Interesting. Fair enough. I would go for whatever was the cheapest at the time.
996 Carrera.
I mean, I absolutely do not hate a 996 Carrera. I'm okay. I'm even okay with the headlights. I do agree that it's not the nicest.
No, but you know what? Like, it's not ugly either. Like, I think it's a bit fucking on the nose to be like it's hideous in a shite car because it's a bit rich to be like they're gash because they don't look very nice, especially when they saved Porsche.
Absolutely, I don't hate the way they look at all. I actually think that the GT2 I think looks quite nice of this one. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, man.
and the GT3 as well actually.
They're a bonny machine. Like, I think the higher you go in the trim, like the nicer they get.
Yes, yeah, I agree on this one. I agree.
If it has like the tinsel like of the GT3 or the GT2 bumpers, like that helps it so much, and like having a spoiler balances it out.
Yeah, it looks a little bit naked when it just doesn't have anything on it. Whereas I think the 997 looks better in its more vanilla form.
Yes, I agree, or I concur. So
But
I do.
I totally agree. It would be one of those two that I'd be most likely to own.
Yeah. And hey, I mean, let's be honest here. Out of the three generations there, like the 996, the 997, and 991, I don't think I would kick any of them out of my garage. Like,
I know.
no.
Talking about it as if we have the power to action this right now.
Well, I mean, we do. I mean, anyone could realistically just be like, fuck it, I'm going to go and get some finance and make a horrible financial decision.
I will
Yay.
become most financed man.
Yeah, like, anyone could do that. Whether you should is a different matter and story
Mm,
altogether. But that's the thing. This is the thing I really like about them is because like they're so attainable.
they are. They're quite attainable.
Like we've spoken about this before, and like really, I think the limit for attainability is about 50K. Like
Yeah, I would say so.
somebody of reasonable means, like a decent job, who's like could save up a bit and then go and finance a car. Realistically, most people could afford that if they really put their mind to it, and that was like their goal. That was like, I want this fucking thing. I want that, and they just fit that range so well.
Yeah, you could go. You could do a lot worse than buying a 911.
Definitely.
I totally agree, and I'm a huge fan of them. I really, really like them.
Likewise, I'm like, I think if I fanboy any harder on them, like I'm gonna have to get like the jacket with the Porsche badge on it.
Oh, well, I know exactly what I'm going to get you as a future gift. Maybe when you buy your first written off Porsche, I'll get you the get you the clobber. So even though you can't drive
Wow.
it, everyone knows you've got one.
Get him out with a Porsche jacket on. Yes. Nah, it's a bit. Honestly, if I had one, I'd wear it. I wouldn't even be apologetic over it. But yeah, like Porsche, got a Porsche jacket. What's your fucking problem? But yeah, I just think they're class, man, and they fit what I'm looking for on so many levels. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, fuck it, that's cool.
Totally. Well, yeah, no, I've learned so much on this little journey.
Yeah, and it's worth noting this was a fucking whistle stop tour. Like we've not been like a definitive Porsche 911 history here because that's like a 6 hour episode, man.
We haven't really talked about motorsports because the 911 has participated in a fair bit of motorsports. We talked about it right at the start.
Yeah, so motorsports, there's been a lot. Like for every generation of 911, there's been motorsport models. So you had like the Carrera RS, the RSR, and then you had like I can't actually remember the names of them off the cuff of my mind, but like it's it's extensively raced, and they're one of the most successful marks of car in competition ever. Let's just put that there and be like, maybe the likes of Lancia or Ford could challenge them on numbers of trophies or whatever, but I don't think a single model of car could challenge them the same. Possibly the Ford Escort, but I think that's probably about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they made their 1 millionth 911 in 2017. But I mean, as far as motorsport goes, like there's spec championships for them. They're represented in pretty much every form of motorsport. I mean, hill climbing has them. GT2, GT3 racing. I mean, I'd hazard a guess that there's a touring car championship somewhere on the planet that has 911s in it as well. And then even like amateur motorsport. I mean, if I was going to pick a car to go racing in at an amateur level, I think I'd be hard pressed to come up with anything better than a fucking 911.
You could definitely do worse. I mean, they compete very extensively in all of the 24-hour endurance racing.
Yes. And I mean, even if you open it up and go to just Porsche, like you've got the Cayman and the Boxster championships and everything else, and I mean, a more accessible mid-engine platform. You've got the MGTF, you've got the MR2, then that's about it. Your next level after that's Porsche 911.
Yeah, yeah, it's a difficult kind of layout to find cheaply.
Sorry, Porsche Boxster or Porsche Cayman, not 911, because that's rear engine. But like, it doesn't really matter what you're looking at. Like, there's something to fit what you need at pretty much every level if you're wanting to go racing or you are racing or whatever, which is pretty mental.
Yeah, totally. It's a car I want to have at least one of at some point.
I like the at least one of. Yeah. Do you know, I envisage buying a 996 right off and fixing it and running it. And then I don't actually think I'd ever get rid of it. I think I would just add to it. So I'd probably pick up like a 997 and then put them in the garage and then try and get like a 991 3 litre turbo Carrera to just drive and then keep the 996 and the 997 locked away.
Another one to my collection.
Yeah. Like genuinely, like that, I would be happy with that as a solution. Like a free car garage, I'd just have free 911s.
Of course.
Yeah, man, why not? You've got it. It's never about want when you're a car guy. It's never about need. It's all about want.
Oh, it's definitely all about one. 100% agree. 100% agree. Like, what do I want right now? And the thing is that I want is to try as much different stuff as I can.
Yeah,
Like, I plan on trying not to go back to a brand. You know, like, I don't want to buy, like, four Audis on the bounce.
yeah. No, I get that.
I'm not an Audi fan, like, I want to try all the different manufacturers, see which one I like the most.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, the skipping about. Like I used to skip about lots, and then I landed on Toyota,
Mm-hmm.
which anyone that's a regular listener will know I am die-hard Toyota fanboy. But like, I could never get past Toyota once I got them. Like I had one and I was like, it does everything I want it to so well. There's nothing that it lacks. There's nothing that I want that it doesn't do. Like I don't see myself selling this in the next 6 months to get something else because it just doesn't do a job well. I think 911 or Porsche is going to be the same for me, at least.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. You're like, I like this so much, I want more.
Yeah. And that's kind of what happened with the Supra, because like I bought the Supra and I was like, it does everything I want it to, and then I bought the Sora and I was like, this does everything I want it to, but it does it even fucking better. And then it's like, yeah, it's just fucking aye. I think I'm probably going to find the same issue when I move to a Porsche.
Have you ever thought of going back to Sorers?
I would love another Sora, but I wouldn't pay what they want for them now. Like,
Aye.
legitimately, you're talking like 997 money for a Toyota Sora.
Aye, okay, fair enough. Yeah, you've basically been priced into a different car decision there.
Yeah, because they're good, but I've had them before and they have their limitations, but by fuck, they're class cars. Yeah. For me, it's just they're too expensive now.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. I mean, it's weird what the how car market has operated recently. Like the COVID's really added a certain volatility to it. Even afterwards, it seems to go up and down a bit.
Yeah. I just want it'd be really nice if it was just to calm down a bit though. Just take a fucking chill pill, Willie, and sit down.
You want the market for economy cars to rise, and the demand for performance cars to fall. What you're saying is we need a fuel crisis?
I'd take a fuel crisis, man. I only drive 2 miles to and from work. Like at the minute, I'm putting like 50 quid gets me 120 miles in the 6 Series, right? Which I
Aye.
worked out at 250 millilitres of fuel per mile.
What, 250 milliliters?
Yeah, I'm getting 120 miles to 50 quid.
That's terrible fuel economy. If even I think that's bad, that's bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. But I mean, I've got a very heavy foot,
It would
and
seem so.
but when I'm going to work and back, like it's literally fucking 4 minutes in the car. Like drive to work, 4 minutes from leaving the house to getting there, get out, do 8 hours, jump in the car, drive back. Like I don't even like 50 quid fuel and that lasts a month doing that.
Mm.
Like I could take a fuel crisis. I'd be up for that. Make the fucking 911 cheaper to buy.
It would have to go on for a while, but yeah, I think eventually you might see people start to get rid of the last of their big displacements.
Yeah. Nah, honestly, we don't want a fuel crisis. That'd be very bad for everyone apart from me, and I'm just being very, 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 very single-minded in what I'm saying. But yeah, no, man. Well, it's been not a bad episode, I don't think. It's been very educational.
Yeah, totally. I mean, certainly for me, because I don't understand the 911 lineup particularly well.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't actually have a very good grasp of the early stuff. Like, there's loads of models, and even the model numbers, like the 964 and everything, I get them mixed up all the time. Really, for me, it's 993 onwards is where they're like, that's something special right there.
Mm-hmm. It's weird how they've gone 993, 996, 997, 991,
992.
992. Yeah, like I think that their naming system there may be a reason for it, but it is absolutely awful. Like 0 marks out of 10. Willfully confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
No, absolutely not. But I think I do understand more of it now, and more importantly, I understand the different kind of like trim, like model levels, which is like
Yeah,
the most important part. I actually kind of know what to look out for as well.
yes. That's the big thing. Like, defo, man. Oh, well.
Yeah, thanks, Colin.
Not a problem, dude. Well, I think that's us. Please comment below, let us know if we've offended you by saying that the air-cooled ones are not the best. You've been listening to Auto Arcadia. I'm Colin Wood,
Thomas Hope.
and thank you for listening. Give us a like, give us a share, leave us a review, even subscribe if you can. Remember, 5 stars or better.